All right, what's going on? So the number one question people ask me when doing OPC, which is you're doing Turo, you're renting cars owned by other people, right? Is how do we split profits? Is probably the most important thing you could ever do while doing this specific business, right? Because the profit that you split is probably what's going to allow you to make money or not make money. And you don't want to be managing a car, renting it, dropping it off, delivering it, doing so much work for basically nothing, right? So you have to design it in a way where a lot of people don't even know this, but I don't see people talk about this. Most people who do Turo overall, like they do Turo, but they don't talk about what happens when you're doing deals like this, right? So as I said, most of my cars right now, we have 52 cars, and most of these cars are basically owned by other people, which people basically give me these cars to rent for them, and we come up with splits and make sure it's like a win-win situation, right? So how you come up with split determines a lot for you, and the split that you determine or the split that you come up with is basically what you're probably going to work with throughout the time of you managing a car for somebody else, right? So in this case, I used to determine my splits is basically just how much cars am I getting from this person. So if a person give me one car, I usually do like a 50-50 split or a 60-40 split. Just depends on the type of car that they have and how much that car would cash flow. And if that person give me more than one car, I would basically come up with like a 70-30 split or like a 75-35 split. Just depends on what kind of cars they have and how it would cash flow, right? So what you do in this case is to have a genuine money model, something that would allow you to make money regardless if the split is more or less in your favor. So if the split is less in your favor, say for instance, I'm renting this car on a 70-30 split, right? If I'm renting this car on a 70-30 split, I'm not saying I am, like I'm probably, I'm renting this car for like more than that, right? But like, if I'm on a 70-30 split with this person, most important thing to do here is to have a money model that allows me to make money regardless. So it's like if I rent the car for $100, obviously I don't rent the car for $100, but like if I do rent the car for $100 and we are on a 70-30 split with this guy, what would happen is he would get $70 and I would get $30 after the car has been rented, right? So sometimes people ask, then how can you make money with just $30, right? So this is why you have a money model design. This is why you have like a design setup that allows you to make money regardless, and it allows you to still create win-win scenarios with other people. So if it's in the case where I'm getting only $30 for this car and this guy is getting $70, I would have to create the design by making sure that I'm making money on other things. So when a person rent a car, technically there's so many questions you can ask this person that would allow them to spend more money that is totally separate from the car itself, right? So how you can get them to spend more money, you can ask them questions like, hey, would you guys want to drop the car off at a different location besides where you pick it up? That alone by itself is like another $50 added, right? That $50 would go on your end before the split. You wouldn't calculate that in the split of the $100 that you're renting the actual car for, right? And then say, for instance, this guy now, same guy, actually saying, hey, like I have a baby. And do you have car seats? Yes, like so you use your car seats to at least make more money on top of what you're making for the car. So baby car seats, deliveries, and things like one-way trips, just any form of extra add-ons that you would have on the car itself would basically allow you to just make more money on the car itself, right? So now that you're basically doing that, you would just want to design it in a way that whenever you guys are doing the splits, it's just he's making more money on his car than you are, and you're basically making all the money on deliveries, baby car seats, and just any add-on. I do stuff like golf clubs, beach chairs, beach umbrellas, coolers. All those things are added onto the car. I don't split that with these people who I split cars with, right? I provide those things myself. So because I provide those things myself, that is the way I would make my money when it comes on to just renting the cars overall. So say for instance, like the same car that's rented for like $100, like that person would only be making $70, and by the time I add delivery on, and then I add on a baby car seat on, and then I add on like some one-way trip that allows them to leave the car in a different location than what they picked it up, like I would probably make at least over $150, and that person would still just make $70. And it's all fair because he's making more money on his car than I am, right? It's just that I'm upselling all the add-ons and all the other things that I'm bringing with these cars by themselves. So it's like most people never even think about these things, and they let these things just slide. So say for instance, that's when you would find yourself making actual money and cash flowing the right way. And this is how it can be a true win-win, especially when it comes on to just doing Turo, doing OPC, because there's just so many things already taking your money, right? If you're already doing Toro's taking fees, and then you're already paying GCTs, and then they're already like taking fees on the extras. They're taking fees on everything. So if you do not design a money model, like something that's going to allow you to just profit or cash flow or just make money regardless of how much you're renting the car for, then you're going to lose. And then this business isn't going to make sense for you. Because sometimes people ask me all the time, like, how do I make money? I'm only making 30%. Like, how do I make money? But then because they don't understand how money models work, they would think that I'm the one losing, right? But I promise you, like once you scale up to the right amount of cars, you're going to feel these designs. You're going to see these things because it doesn't even matter. Like if you're renting from Hertz or Budget or one of these other places, what they'll do is they'll sell you everything else on top of the car. So you would walk in trying to spend $100 and you'd actually walk out spending like $300. So this is the true design of a true money model. And actually shout out to Alex Hormozy for this like whole thing, because I'm the actual one who I read his book, Money Models, and I instantly realized that I was already doing it in my own business, but it really just opened my eyes up to show the different structures that can actually happen when you're conducting business in any way, right? If this video actually helped you, give me a subscribe and actually like subscribe to the video. Just let me know what you think. And soon we'll release a program that you yourself would be able to meet other hosts and co-hosts just like me, where you can literally just join the group, network with some people, and you probably can get your first 2 to 3 cars from one of these people inside the group, right? So just let me know if that would even help you. And if it would help you, then I'll see you in the group. I'll be creating it soon. So I'll see you in the next one.